Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is. Welcome back. I figured I'd put a little bit of the White House in the background so we can have a little bit of the White House. I hear the lights are still on. We've got quite a show today. We have a guest that I think is going to really excite all of you. And we're not necessarily going to talk about the shutdown. We're not going to talk. We're going to talk about it from he's basically someone that can. Oh, why is it not letting me do this? That was pretty prominent during. All right, hold on a second. There we go. Got it to work. I should probably do this before we actually go live every day, but that would make me right. So we're going to talk about the political showdown that's happening in Portland, in Chicago, and Illinois, and why you should be really excited about what's happening in those two areas. There's also a thing called conversion therapy that they're taking to the Supreme Court. Colorado was taken to the Supreme Court, and they're trying to claim that the state can control therapists' speech, even faith-based counselors. They can tell you what you can and cannot say. And we have this gender dysphoria that's happening, and a large result of it is because of what they're able to do with this propaganda. Now, we talked a little bit about this with Vince yesterday, and that is, if you had 5 people in a room, this was done. This was an experiment that was done. If you have 5 people in a room, and let's say 4 were actors and 1 wasn't, and the 4 that were actors, their only job was to contradict what you saw right in front of you. Your only job was to create enough of an environment that you could convince someone that what they were looking at was right, because you had enough pressure from the 4 people to convince the 5th person that what they were doing had to be the right way. Now, David touched on this in his documentary, Let My People Go. And I should have looked it up before I actually came on, but the principles of it are pretty simple. And that is, we walk through the lines. You have 2 lines. One's a long line, one's a short line. Your job is to actually pick out the long line, just a line on a piece of paper. And they had the actors there that were talking about it. And so they basically said they would call the short line the long line. And they went through this twice. And by the time they went through it a second time, the first time, the guy that was with these 4 people were like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. That's the short line, the B. But the second time they went through it, he agreed with the other 4. This kind of mass psychosis is, it basically is rewiring the brain to see something it can't see. And in large part, that's what they've done to kids. I've never met a young person that but I'll take my son for an example. My son in high school, he was small. He was small, a 9th grader. I don't think he hit puberty till his senior year. And that was right when he was graduating. It probably happened right when he was graduating. And so he struggled. He struggled with that. That's not true. He basically had a growth spout his senior year. But I say that because he struggled the first couple of years with being this, you grow into your own skin. It's like you have this little pudgy kid, and all of a sudden he becomes something. He becomes a man. And but he struggled. And so had he not gone to a Christian school, I shudder to think what the opportunity would be for them to convert my son into some sort of person that he's not by telling him that he's uncomfortable in his own body. This happens a lot. So we're gonna dive into this a little bit and kind of talk about what's happening when you have states like California, Colorado, and others that want to take away your right to be a parent, take away your right to teach your children. And they've created a mass environment in schools, like education environments are the worst. They put pride flags on the wall. They hire teachers that, frankly, are absolutely disgusting. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to have a guest come in. We have a guest come in before we talk about much of this stuff. So our guest is Alejandro Diaz, Dr. Alejandro Diaz. He's a global health titan, pediatric allergist. He's a mastermind behind the Biopolitiks, with decades of advising world leaders, screening millions of migrants, and dissecting health policy. Dr. Diaz is here. He's going to talk to us about his take on the Trump-Pfizer deal. And we're going to talk a little bit about vaccines and kind of how we sold out. And then the battle over choice. Sorry, background. Over parental choice versus what the Big Pharma is doing. And then I just have some questions for him. And that is why? Why are they doing this? I mean, don't we wonder why we can't wake up in the day and say, in the morning and say, oh man, it's a beautiful morning. My kids are going to school. They're going to learn about math and science and English and cool stuff. And we're going to go into the inner cities and we're going to try and teach them about how to excel. And they're going to be our pilots and our lawyers and our doctors. Instead, they put a hat on these children that has a rearview mirror on it. Only what they see in the rearview mirror is a perception that is built by these wackos. They're just wackos. And these wackos go out and they build a fraternity. And then that fraternity goes out and tries to convince you that everything you're seeing is real. When we're done talking about all that, we're going to jump into the ICE agents and what's going on in these areas and whether or not, let's just call it what it is. It's sedition. It's sedition. It's treason. Anytime a state stands up and tells its police officers not to enforce the law, and it's a federal law, it's an act of sedition. They're going against the government, and they should be tried for that. And how many people would it take to try them before they decide, maybe this isn't something I want to dive into? So I'm going to play this really quick. This is I'm going to first show you this. This is a tweet from Fox News. This is a therapist in the state of Colorado, and the Supreme Court could rule soon on Colorado's conversion therapy ban, a decision that may redefine the boundaries between free speech, religion, and the LGBTQ protections. Once licensed counselor argues the law violates her free speech and religious rights, as well as those of her clients, by censoring certain private conversations in therapy. About 24 states and Washington, D.C. have laws similar to Colorado's. Yeah, this is, again, I will say it for the people in the back of the room. We should not be negotiating with the ridiculous. And this is the ridiculous. I mean, what else do you want to call it? I think it's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely absurd that this is even something we're having a conversation about. And let me just tell you about the summary of the case. Case challenges the 2019 law that makes doctors or counselors discouraging minors from transgender transitions. They're basically saying that's a bad idea. How about you wait till you're an adult? And what they're doing is arguing that a therapist that law infringes on the First Amendment right to talk about, I don't know, let's start with morals. The lawsuit was filed in September of 2022. This should have been on the fast track, and it should have been heard in October of 2022. And in the meantime, many parents have been disenfranchised, children taken from them by CPS, and the grooming and indoctrination has continued in schools all over the country. I don't know if I could be a parent right now, because if somebody did that to my child, I would hurt them. I would not just hurt them, I'd be in prison right now, and I would unalive them. I can just tell you what I would do. If grooming a child is the same thing as as putting your sexual perversion or some sort of pedophile. I don't know if I could handle it. Matter of fact, I know I couldn't. And I shudder at the fact that parents have allowed this to continue. But I'm gonna skip over some of this stuff. Our guest is here. So let's just go to this. I want to tell you a little about his background. We talked a little bit about it before. His expertise is on medicine, migration, biosecurity, and public health policy. He was an early critic, early as in probably day one of COVID-19 vaccine rollouts, one of the first physicians to publicly voice those concerns. I'm trying to figure out how many times he was canceled. My guess is quite a few. He predicted the pandemic in October 2018, over a year before it started reporting SARS-CoV-2 cases in Wuhan. He's been speaking all over the country. He's presented in over 27 countries, and has a remarkable career. And now is taking care of kids. So, with that said, Dr. Diaz, welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being on. So I have to start with the first question that has been bothering me all day when I knew you were coming on, and that is why. It can't just be about profits. Why is Pfizer doing what they're doing? Why are they rolling out vaccines that are killing millions of Americans? Why are we seeing people all over the world being vaccine injured going back decades, and yet we can't correlate or create a causation to correlation marrying just based on the basic fact that this is what happened day one and this is what happened over that time period with the new vaccine schedules?
You know, it's insane what's going on. And I'm a pediatrician, allergist, immunologist, and I take care of a lot of children for over many, many years. I've been in this industry for 32 years now as a GP, and then with all my specialties for over 18 years. And so at the beginning, one of the things that I say all the time is that, unfortunately, physicians all over the world, we have been indoctrinated since day one of medical school.
Well, why? Dr. Diaz,
Because
why do it? Why put ourselves in this position? What's the benefit? Is there a benefit, or is this just let's destroy everything in front of us?
Yeah, those two things. There's a profit for Big Pharma, and obviously there's no benefit for people, for patients. But you want to be a doctor, you want to become a doctor, and they teach you certain things, and you have to follow. I mean, you don't even have the opportunity or the chance to question anything. So I have to accept that as a regular doctor, like all of my colleagues, I was indoctrinated, but up until sometime, and then I woke up, and then I said, it doesn't make sense. So I stopped vaccinated my kids, my own kids, my 4 boys, and now I don't recommend any of those products.
Okay, so you don't recommend any vaccines for children at all?
Not anymore. Since probably 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Well, this is a pretty powerful statement. So you said 5 years ago you came out and said, "All right, no more vaccines." Did you look into vaccines prior to 5 years ago, or was it just not on your radar that would have been a correlation to the vaccines collectively?
I was indoctrinated, as many of my colleagues, but there's a time that you have to wake up, and I think that happened to me after a lot of reading, a lot of research, the type of work that I did for so many years as an immigration doctor, that I was seeing that, I mean, many of the things that I was looking at, communicable diseases and vaccines and so on, didn't make any sense. And then starting to see the increased incidence in autism, in cases of autism all over the nation, with no explanation. I grew up in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, and I remember during my time, it was 6 vaccines. Now we are over 70 vaccines. It just doesn't make sense. In my time, I don't remember anybody with autism. Now you can ask any average elementary school age kid, and they not only can tell you how many, but they can name every single uh, classmate with autism. So it's incredible, the increased amount of new cases.
But you also have parents that have adopted this idea that it makes their kids special to have some sort of ailment or condition. And so now you have parents telling their kids, well, you're just autistic, you're just ADHD, you're just this, you're just that. And we're going to feed you more drugs. Here's some psychotropic drugs. Here, drop you on this thing. Here, do this thing with you. And Big Pharma they're lapping it up. They're just, I mean, sooner or later, Doc, you're going to get to a place where you don't have anybody to lap it up to. There's no people left. You've killed them all.
Exactly. And Joe, let me put this into your consideration and all of your audience. And I've been asking this question to many doctors, and they just don't have an answer. And this is the situation. Do you think it's in the best interest of Big Pharma to vaccinate kids at a younger age, as young as 24 to 48 hours of being born, with hepatitis B, and then the whole set of all the preventable diseases? Do you think it's in their best interest to, specifically for, let's say, DTaP, which is diphtheria, pertussis, whooping cough, chicken pox, even pneumococcal, meningococcal, and those kind of diseases? Do you think it's in their best interest to prevent those diseases that the vast majority you can treat them with antibiotics, or many of them there are self-limited? Do you think it's in their best interest to do that, or there is something that you are applying to the children, and then it will pop up in the future? I think it's this is the second option, because I mean, all those diseases you can treat them very well, and most of them they're self-limited, but very few people are asking those kind of questions.
Okay, so but you have to ask the question. This, by the way, was a conversation that me and my friend had, and he's like, Joe, and he believes some of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. He thinks the world is flat and that there's a flat Earth. So there's and he I don't know. I mean, I can't. That's even not a topic for this show. I think it would get too crazy. But we had the conversation about vaccines and about Big Pharma, and he's like, Joe, do you really think that they're out there just trying to kill off their population? I mean, come on. And I kind of looked at him like, you're late to the party, bro. Yes, I think they're trying to kill off the population. He goes, there'd be no benefit. They want to make money on you. They want to keep you around. I was like, so they keep you sick and then they give you drugs to keep you alive while you're sick? That sounds awful. He goes, that's right. That's why we know they're not doing it, Joe. And I just shook my head and I went, this is what most people think, Doc. Most people think that nobody is that diabolical. But it is that diabolical, right?
Look what happened with the COVID pandemic. I never call it pandemic. I call them the COVID operation. That was evil agenda. That was an evil agenda. I mean, and if you look into this perspective, Joe, you will see that everything is just two things. Number one, it's a product of mass formation, and it's a product of polarization, where people can fight each other and then create chaos.
But then you kill off people. I mean, it's like a mass reset, right? A reset.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're telling me as a doctor that you've come to the conclusion that they're basically just trying to kill off 90% of the population. What percentage are they trying to kill off, Doc?
Well, with the previous schedule of the vaccines, not kill, obviously not kill. I don't believe that, but definitely to get people sicker, definitely through specific cell programming, and
right,
you can do that. And
mRNA.
you can do that.
So they have this mRNA that reprograms your DNA, basically, that rewrites the scripts of how your body operates. That's led to myocarditis and a bunch of other diseases, right?
Exactly. Yeah, but I was mentioning
diseases are deadly, Doc. They're deadly. So I mean, so they do.
No, but I was referring to the previous schedule before the mRNA platform.
Right. Okay.
So you get the vaccinations, then all of a sudden you have this increase in eczema, allergic rhinitis, urticaria, asthma, and all this huge catalog of diseases, huge after mass vaccination. That's one thing. So just to get people sicker. Now, a different story, a different animal. It's the mRNA technology with the COVID operation. That's a different thing. And there, I really think that one of the main goals was to disappear as many people as they could. Yeah. But they're two different things.
All right. So let's plan this out. Let's just think about this. You have vaccines, which are one part that pharma is making a killing on, and it's creating massive amounts of comorbidities, right? Would you agree that that's increased over the last 20 years?
25 years, yeah.
I mean, it didn't even exist before.
Right.
It wasn't even really a term. Now we have comorbidities everywhere, and everyone expects us to just ignore it. Like, this is just, oh no, this is fine. It's global warming.
Yeah.
I mean, just blame it on global warming. So you have that as a problem, and I'm not laughing at it. It's not funny, but you have perfectly healthy children given a vaccine, and they turn into an invalid, can't speak. Now they're nonverbal, and it ruins their life for the rest of their life. That's not the only problem we face, Doc. We've been studying cancer for 70 years, and all we have to show for it right now is chemotherapy and radiation, the same thing we've had since the 1950s.
Yeah.
We've been studying it for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. You're telling me in 80 years' time, we've made zero progress? Zero. How is that possible?
Well,
we can come up with 165 different vaccine strands. I mean, it's 70, but I mean, the schedule, I think it gets over 100, doesn't it?
Well, it really varies, but it's around between 75 and 90.
Okay.
The whole schedule from day 0 to up to 21 years of age.
We're giving people flu vaccines. And anybody that knows anything about viruses is that viruses want to live. So over time, they get less potent. But then we're consistently putting out flu vaccines with a new strand that then creates a new strand at the very top of it that is potent, that has a high potency. And we have this kind of up and down. I looked at a chart for the flu over the last 20 years, and the mortality rate of the flu over the last 20 years, and it's gone up almost 100%. We can't be the smartest guys in the room, Doc. Why aren't they stop doing what they're doing?
It is true. Unfortunately, the patients, the people, they're not looking at those things. They're just following directions from their healthcare providers. Unfortunately, and if the healthcare providers have been indoctrinated, I mean, it's very, very few things you can do. We can do as patients or as society. This is why I speak about biopolitics. Biopolitics basically is to bring, experts from the society to convince legislators to legislate about health in a proper way, in a very expert approach way, so we can have better outcomes. We can have better and healthier society for the betterment of society, specifically in the United States. This is why I'm so interested in biopolitics with the K.
Yeah, this is where I get into the part where I just ask the question why. Like, I know that people commit crimes against people all day long, every day, twice on Sunday, but this is bigger than that. This is crimes against humanity. These are literally crimes that are committed that destroy the lives of Americans every day.
And if you ask me why, the big why, I can tell you right away. Why is the why? And it's not money, and it's not even power. It's just the lack of God in humans' hearts. That's it. I mean, let's go not even philosophically, just basic Christianity, the lack of God. That's it.
So do you believe that there is the opposite of good, which would be
evil,
is evil. Mm-hmm. So do you believe that these are just devils, Satanists?
Yes.
And do you think that that's what the purveyors of the atheist movement, do you think that they're in essence basically just a Satanist organization or group of Satanists?
Just group that they do not acknowledge God as you and we acknowledge God.
But they acknowledge Satan. I mean, many of them acknowledge Satan.
Oh, yeah. in a way. Yes.
So are you telling me that we have an entire society that has been infiltrated and rotted out in Big Pharma that has no social conscience at all?
That is correct. Yes, 100%.
Do you know how scary what you're saying is, Doc?
It is. It is.
You're basically saying that we are all victims. We're slaves. I mean, I said we were slaves before, but now we're slaves to a different type of movement. This is diabolical.
Joe, if you listen to what my great colleague and an amazing doctor, the Surgeon General from Florida, Dr. Joseph Ladapo, said that he can compare the mandates of vaccines to slavery. He said it. He mentioned that. So I agree with him 100%. You don't have to mandate those things. You have to, just giving you the opportunity to choose.
I'm trying to get that video. I know that the Dr. Lalapo, there's a video of him talking about this. So I just asked the team to go ahead and get that for me if we can. Okay, so I'm sorry, I have lots of questions. I went off the rails and asked a bunch of questions that I did not think through earlier. Let's talk about what's happening with Bobby Kennedy and the Maha movement. Now, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Ask a question, please.
No. I want to know, do you feel like it's a ruse? I mean, you had a deal that was put together with Pfizer and Bobby Kennedy. It seems antithetical to what we're trying to accomplish, which is to destroy what they've done to hurt people. And now Maha is actually getting in bed with Pfizer. How does that? How do you square that?
That's Joe. That's a very tough question. A very tough question to answer because I think it's deeper than anything we can imagine in various terms, from geopolitical to economic to different things, even political, obviously. But I was talking about Secretary Kennedy. I think that I really admire him. Admire him for different reasons.
I think he's amazing.
He's amazing.
He's an amazing
and I think he's trying to deliver what he promised, to make America healthy again. Of course, it's not an easy task. It's difficult, but I think he's trying. Obviously, what happened a couple of weeks ago or 10 days ago, it shocked a lot of people, including myself, of that pronunciation with Pfizer, the 70 billion investment over some years, with research development and different things. And obviously, which I really think it's a quid pro quo kind of deal, that it will be some gain from each side. But I think a lot of people was very surprised, and because many people were hoping that Pfizer was punished or penalized for what they did with the mRNA technology, but they were not the only one. There were other companies like Moderna, BioNTech, and so on and so forth. But I think for this reason, I think this is a little bit more deep that we can anticipate. And if you saw Secretary Kennedy's face, his body language, he was not comfortable that day.
No, he's he is vaccine injured, and I want to just kind of give you. I want to put a bow on this, if we can, just from and this is just my perspective on things. But he wants Pfizer to lower subscription drug prices. Okay, I always say you never stand on the side of the devil, not even for a minute. Don't ever stand on the side of the devil. And what Pfizer agreed to is that they're going to give most favored nation pricing on drugs. Now, let's just say Pfizer is the kingpin of all of the drug companies. They're all, by the way, you know what all pharmaceutical companies have in common? They're all felons. They're all felons. They're all felons. They've paid the equivalent of almost $30 billion in fines for criminal acts, not for civil acts, but for criminal acts, and they've gotten away with it. Like, people have gotten away with massive crimes against humanity inside these pharma companies because they have qualified immunity. They're immune from prosecution, just like judges, right? just like congressmen. You can't sue a congressman for slander. They're allowed to lie with impunity and do whatever they want. But in this case, Pfizer agreed to offer these discounted prices through a government-run website. Okay? It's going to launch next year. In exchange, Pfizer gets no taxes. No taxes. They get tax-free. And they pledge to invest $70 billion in U.S.-based manufacturing facilities. So let me square this for you, Doc. They get to take the $70 billion they took from Americans that they got from killing millions of Americans with impunity. That nothing happened. They get to then say, I'm going to build more facilities, and thank you for not holding me accountable for all the damage I did to your family. Now I'm going to build more facilities so that I can kill more of your family members so I can make more money. And I don't get to pay taxes.
Yeah, it was, this is why it was a very difficult question, but it seems that the agreement, there's not a lot of public information about this deal, but it seems that it was like a 3-year tariff exemption.
Yeah.
3-year. But it's
so there's your $70 billion back.
Exactly.
So I'm investing the stuff that I would pay for taxes anyway, and I just put it back into it's just it doesn't even, it flies in the face of basic goodness, right? And it allows for an organization. And look, there are drugs that help a lot of people. But do you remember what they did to ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine? They said it was horse paste.
Of course.
It was an award-winning drug that stopped people from dying of malaria over in Africa.
Nobel Prize.
Yes.
They won the Nobel Prize in 2015.
That disappeared off the Wikipedia page. That disappeared off the Wikipedia page in 2020.
Yeah.
Go on.
And it's a cheap drug, very cheap drug, easy to get in different countries. And,
it's easy to manufacture.
It's easy to make. The industry doesn't make that much of profit. So that's why they're going against this type of repurposed drugs.
Okay, but then they decided that Pfizer said, "Hey, we're gonna pay big media to stop this."
Yeah.
Right? To stop talking about it. And until we made what was called Pfizer-mectin, which was ivermectin.
Yes.
And the average cost of those pills was $1.38.
Correct.
For Pfizer-mectin. Am I this is truthful, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then they started to say that was a prophylactic for COVID, right? And ran it side by side. I mean, it's a crime. I mean, I don't even know how that crime could be committed, and we're just sitting here having a conversation about it as if, hey, no harm, no foul.
It is Joe. It's unfortunately the inconvenient truth. That's it. It's been happening for decades. For decades,
people lost their family members.
Oh yeah,
because they wouldn't give them ivermectin.
Yeah, I was talking about the whole pharma deal, but yeah, ivermectin is an amazing medication. I use it all the time, and now with mebendazole, it's incredible. We're starting to see even patients that have severe cancers and different like stage 4 cancers. They're getting better and better. So there are thousands and thousands of successful cases.
Square it for me then. I mean, let's. I mean, there's thousands of people watching right now, cross platforms. Square it with me. Who are we as Americans? If this is the reality, and they get a $70 billion tax break, and they don't get held accountable for putting poison in the lives and then the veins of Americans here in the United States, and they get a tax holiday, and they get to invest another $70 billion, and then be given an audience by the U.S. government to then turn around and put more poison into our kids' bodies while still having these vaccines that are you're a doctor, and the doctors that come behind you, doc, they're not teaching them to think for themselves. There's no critical thinking. So pretty soon you'll be retired, and the doctors that are in your shoes will be pumping poison into the next generation.
Yeah, and this is what I've been talking all over the world about, this biopolitics things, that we have to change things. We have to be We have to come back to our basics, back to basics. We have to have moral ground, ethical ground, and we have to be awakened. First, do no harm. That's exactly what we have to do. First, do no harm. It has been there for thousands of years, and first, do no harm. But unfortunately, we are being poisoning our patients in our society worldwide. This is not only for the United States. This has been worldwide. This is why Big Pharma is so powerful. But we need more awakened doctors. We need more Christian doctors, more doctors that are committed with society, that they really want to do things for the betterment of society. Like back in let's go back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s. Now it's a different scheme, definitely.
The hard part about saying it's a different scheme is that we're not allowed to think critically, and we're not allowed to question what's right in front of us. We saw this happen in the election in 2020, and in large part we stayed away from it for the 2 decades that elections were being stolen prior to that, because they were basically stealing down ballot state races and then moved quickly in from there to let's take over different states one by one. And the United States is a very different model because you have independence in those states. You have state-run governments that have their own state governance, and then you have national governance that kind of puts over an umbrella of this constitution, right? So there's 2 layers, but when you steal enough states that you have density and you have different lawyers and judges and different politicians at different levels in those environments, once you have that density, then you basically control the entire populace. You own them.
This is why, Joe, biopolitics, it gets so relevant, because we need more biopolitics. Biopolitics, basically, it's meaning bringing the best doctors, the most the doctors with more expertise in different fields, talk to the legislators, and then they can legislate about health, the right way to do health for society. Because let's face it, 99% of all legislators, they're not physicians, they're not doctors, yet they are legislating about medicine. How can you do that, Joe? This is simple math. This is just very simple. Just bring the experts. One of the main things, Joe, that I talked about in different outlets, different medias, whatever, at the beginning of, since day one of the COVID operation, when nobody was understanding what was going on about this pandemic, what I call the COVID operation is bring the experts to try to bring the best solutions for, first locally in your community, then locally, then statewide, then region-wide, and then nationwide.
Yeah.
But they didn't listen. We could have done a much better job instead of what happened, but they didn't listen. They didn't bring the experts. That's true.
But Doc, they would argue they did bring the experts, and the experts say that you're a denier. You're a science denier.
Of course.
I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, you have all the facts on your side. Mathematics add up. The truth is very, it's very evident when you look at it. Even you could be a blind, deaf, dumb person and you could see it, right? So how is it that these people get away with saying, they basically dismiss it as like, get away from me. This is not real. Dr. Diaz, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, of course, because that was the name of the game. It's mass formation. Mass formation. So one people will do it, another larger group will do it, and then the rest will follow. I mean, can you imagine at the when they came up with the first vaccine early 2020, early 2020, early 2021, which was basically December 2020, actually, they were already millions and millions and millions of people already infected with SARS-CoV-2. There's a famous video right there that you can find it of Dr. Fauci saying about 14 years ago, he was talking about the flu shot. And he says, the best way to get vaccinated is to get the infection itself. 14 years after that, after that statement, he said that everybody needs the vaccine. So it just, I mean, people there, weren't paying attention.
Well, that means that there is a concerted effort. There's someone behind that is paying someone money in order to hurt other people. I mean, that's what it tells you, is that we're no longer interested in science, right?
Probably, yes.
So that means we're at war, and they're trying to kill off the people. I mean, I have to come to some conclusion, Doc. I got to come to some conclusion. I have to, either has to be evil or it has to be good. And if it's evil, then we're in a war. They're trying to kill us, and we're allowing them to kill us. They want to change our food supply. They want to put vaccines inside of our food supply. We want to give $70 billion in, or whatever the benefits are for a tax-free environment for Pfizer. I can't even imagine what they're doing to other companies. But for Pfizer, and they have to manufacture drugs that only reason many of these drugs are out there and we have to use them to begin with is because they created a disease that caused us to need the drug.
Joe, there's no question in my mind that this is evil. This is what I call the evil agenda.
Yeah.
And I spoke about this at the Esplanade in the UN in Geneva. And I spoke about this, and I told, this is the agenda of evil. That's exactly what it is.
So then how do we stop it? I mean, if it's an agenda of evil, that means it doesn't represent any sort of scientific benefit for us to continue to follow it. So why are we still following it? Why is the public so in this place that we've watched them do this harm to us over 20 years, and we sit back and twiddle our thumbs, and then they tell us, if you say anything, we'll just throw you in jail? I mean, why are we even putting up with it?
Answering your question, Joe, the only way we can stop this, it's by creating and bringing more brave voices to create exactly the reverse of that mass formation. So we're going to create a mass formation, but in a reverse way, creating conscious, bringing brave voice to speak out and speak loud everywhere. This is exactly what we need, because,
This is not just a U.S. problem, though, is it?
It's a worldwide problem.
So that means that you could not have this spread all over the world if it wasn't created, if it wasn't manufactured.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. This was created 100%. There's no question in my mind. This was not created by natural selection. This was man-made, created with an evil agenda. I mean, I see patients on a regular basis, Joe. I have seen patients for over 30 years, and I treat countless number of COVID patients during the pandemic, and I've learned a lot. And we created a large group of brave voices, doctors, physicians all over the world, giving conferences in different countries in the world, talking about this, risking our integrity, our lives, our license, our jeopardizing everything for the betterment of society. That's what I have been doing for 5 years.
So let's hypothetically say, I mean, how many people are we talking about? 1,000, 2,000, 5,000?
Of what?
Of voices that are out there speaking.
It's hard to say, Joe, but let's talk about only doctors, because there are a lot of non-doctors that are very brave people, very documented people, and they've been talking all over the world. But let's talk about doctors. I want to say that probably no more than 150 brave doctors. I mean, brave doctors that they will fly, they will
Doc,
go, they will attend.
That's not enough, brother. There's 8 billion people in the world.
Yeah, I know.
There's 8 billion people in the world, and we're, for the first time ever, we have a negative regression on births. So we're actually going backwards. And by the way, the clock of going backwards is ticking like a time bomb. The slide is like 0.021 or something.
Yeah.
So once it gets to 1%, it's a slide that's hard to reverse.
I know.
I mean, so
150, Joe. Can you imagine?
Out of 8 billion.
But for every single, including myself, for every single person, every single human life, physicians that have been brave enough to go out there and risk everything, it's for them. For me, it's all we have. It's our life. It's what we do, and we are exposing us to look what happened with Charlie Kirk.
It'll keep coming. I mean, it's not just Charlie. It's
I know.
what they did to Charlie Kirk, and then how they covered up for it and lied about it.
Exactly.
And here's the bad part. I heard what they were talking about, that this bullet that was shot was a 30-06. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh. Okay, no, it wasn't. Because a 30-06 would have, I mean, if it would have been just a full metal jacket, it would have gone through and through. And if it was a hunting round, it would have blown his head right off his body, his neck right off his body, period.
So basically, what I can tell you, Joe, to you and your great audience is that bottom line, we have to get closer to God, because we are living a spiritual battle,
Yeah.
a spiritual war. This is exactly what we are living, and we have to get closer to God, closer to, reading the Bible every single day, talking to our peers, and doing exactly the reverse of that negative mass formation. Let's turn it to a positive mass formation, positive Christian mass formation. I think that's the only way we have to get out of this unfortunate cascade of events, negative cascade of events.
Let's go through a couple things really quick. So just number one, how many vaccines do you recommend parents give their children?
Right now?
Yeah.
None.
Zero.
Zero.
Like you're saying, do not vaccinate your children.
Yeah. 5 years ago, probably I was not awakened, and probably I would recommend some. Now, it's hard for me to say that. It's very hard.
What about tetanus?
I've been
Doc, that they've been trying to chase me down to give me a tetanus shot. I'm not joking with you. I went to the doctor. I had a arrow that went into my leg about 4 inches. Long story. I basically fell over in a garage, and the arrow went straight through my leg. Right? It's crazy. And then I had to slowly climb off of the arrow. It went in slowly, which if you've ever, hopefully you've never been stabbed, but when it goes in slowly, it's really painful. It's like ripping through. And then I had to pull it out slowly, right? This arrow. So I went to the doctor, and they had to stitch it up on the inside. Then they had to stitch it up on the outside, right? Do all this flushing and everything else.
Yeah.
And the lady walks in and had this syringe. She goes, "I'm going to give you a tetanus shot." I was like, "Oh no, you're not."
And those are the preventable disease through vaccinations that can be cured and treated with antibiotics.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. I've been practicing for over 32 years, and I've been traveling the world and training Europe, United States, Mexico, different parts, and I haven't seen a single case of tetanus. I haven't seen, as a pediatrician, a single case of measles.
Are you sure? Because right now they're trying to get everybody to take the measles vaccine too. It's just crazy. And they show us a picture of a person covered in bubbles.
Of course.
And I'm like, that's not even real. It's not real.
And they create fear. They create fear, so everybody will go and rush and get the vaccines. But this is mass formation, Joe. This is why people like my colleagues and myself, we've been raising our voices, because we want the best for the people, for the betterment of humanity. Risking everything, Joe, everything.
Oh, I know exactly what that means. I definitely know what that means. What about parents that already have had vaccination for their kids? Is there a protocol that they can take? Is there something they can do to reverse autism, reverse some of the things, the damage that's been done to their children?
Yeah, it's again, Joe. That's a tough question. It's hard, because up until now, there's nothing proved yet scientifically that can reverse autism. There are some papers here and there, but it's hard to say that. On the other side of the token, for what happened with the mRNA technology, the mRNA platform with Pfizer and Moderna for the COVID, there are some serious studies, like the one for Dr. Peter McCullough with the Wellness Company, that he was able to not only prove scientifically that this worked, but to compound, nattokinase, bromelain, and black pepper,
normal stuff, across the counter stuff,
bromelain, and different compounds to reverse the damage of the mRNA technology. So I think those things are to potentially to reverse the damage of millions of people that has been damaged with the mRNA platform.
What do you think about the what do you think about the snake venom part where they said it was part of snake? Have you heard this? I had one of the doctors on.
I have heard, but I have no experience with that, so I cannot.
Yeah, I don't either.
I can have any opinion on that.
All right. Well, Doc, I don't. I think it's important for people to understand. I have a friend of mine who is fleeing California right now because the rules are in California that you must fully vaccinate your children or they can't go to school. And then they just upped the ante on that and said that they can arrest parents and take the kids away from the parents if you don't vaccinate your children in California. So do you think you're going to see more vigilante doctors that are just squirting the vaccines on the ground, handing them their vaccine card, saying you're ready to go?
It's hard to say that, but let's put the amazing example of Florida. I mean, under the supervision of the Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo, that he's all for just stop the mandates, and that's going to start the next in early December. So what I will do is I will freedom of choice. If someone would like to get their kids vaccinated, they're free to go and do that, but not to mandate. We cannot mandate those things because we have seen numerous and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of cases of vaccine injured people. I have seen it in my clinic.
Do you think the vaccines have made people more susceptible to propaganda? You think it's weakened their ability to comprehend reality or to fall into this trap?
In some instances, I have to say yes. Yes. Especially with what happened with the mRNA technology. That was terrible.
Well, what was your defining moment? I mean, when did you wake up? Did you just wake up one day and it's like, let me just look into this? I mean, what was this didn't look right?
When I went to the whole process of medical school, the whole process of training, internship, and then the residency and fellowship and everything. The thing with doctors, Joe, this is worldwide. The thing with doctors, you don't have time to think. You're so busy taking care of a very hard career, taking care of and being up to date with the journals, with the guidelines and here's and there's, taking care of patients every day. They don't give you time to think critically. So they take away from you critical thinking. You're not allowed to question anything. But even in those instances, I was like, something doesn't add up, something doesn't make sense. So I have that always in my mind. But even though that I have that, and I have 4 kids, I did vaccinate my kids, and I regret it, to be honest. But 5 years from starting 5 years from now, I stopped all the vaccines with my kids. No more. That's it. No more ever, ever. Not for my wife, not for my kids, not for me. No more vaccines of any kind.
All right. So then I just got to ask, I just have a few more questions for you that I think that people want to know. We have the thing with RFK. Bobby, it does seem uncomfortable. I saw the video and I thought he was going to reach out and choke the living crap out of the
body language.
Yeah, he was not happy. He was not happy at all. And President Trump seemed a little bit hesitant as well, which is odd, right? Neither one of them felt comfortable with this deal. The Pfizer guy was giddy. He just thought he won the lottery or something.
Yeah. You're talking about Albert Bourla, the CEO.
Yeah. He didn't take the vaccine?
He's a veterinarian.
No.
He's not a doctor.
Did you know he didn't take the vaccine?
He didn't.
No, he did not take the COVID vaccine.
He didn't. No.
Yeah, at all.
At all.
And everyone's like, "Oh, Joe, yes, he did. He took it." No, he did not. He had to answer a question. He had to answer the question to Congress: did you take the vaccine? And the big answer was no, I did not take it. He chose not to take it. So he fed poison to the American people and never took the vaccine.
There was not sufficient data. There was not sufficient research. There was not double-blind placebo-controlled trials. People have to understand that. Whenever you can, Joe, you and your audience, try to read the book of my great friend, Dr. Naomi Wolf, The
Oh, yeah,
Pfizer
it's a great
Papers.
book.
That's
Yeah.
an amazing book, and obviously the real Anthony Fauci by Secretary Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy.
Here's my question. We have books of information that show the crimes committed by these people, right? They're crimes.
Yes.
Why have they not been arrested?
It's hard to say. It's another great book that I recommend everybody. The Courage to Face COVID-19 by Dr. Peter McCullough and John Lake.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Great books.
I've read all those books. I read this book, so I knew it was an operate day one. I'd seen this happen in the Middle East and Africa before. I had seen operations, and this was definitely an operation. This was an intelligence operation. I was against it day one. Now, I didn't know the specifics around the COVID, but I got up to speed very quickly on viruses and what they have the capability of doing and so on and so forth. I asked you a question and you said, I don't know. And the question was, they've committed crimes. Like, these are crimes. We can see them, that we're not stupid people. We have a legal system that is supposed to put criminals in jail. Mm-hmm. So we have crimes committed. We can see it with our own eyes that this is the outcome that has caused mass amounts of harm to our American people and people around the world, and they're still walking around. Why?
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to describe this. I mean, I have the same question. I question myself that question every day.
So that means the American people have no value. I mean, 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah.
They steal elections. We can see it. They do nothing about it. They persecute and take away from us. They have judges do the bidding for them. They're henchmen. Big Pharma does the same thing. Vaccines do the same thing. By the way, there was people that went out and basically gave vaccine cards to people so they didn't have to get vaccines so they can go back to work. Right? Those people went to prison. So we prosecuted people that literally went after and tried to stop the crimes being committed against people. They went to prison.
And many dissident doctors, they went to prison all over the world, Germany, United States, Canada, everywhere. They took
lost their licenses. And they still don't have their licenses.
Yes.
They still don't have their licenses.
Correct.
So square it with me. Square it with me. Square it for all the people listening that show me how we're not in a lawless society where we're run by a bunch of thugs. It's just a criminal enterprise. It's a cartel at this point.
True. Yeah.
Dr. Diaz, how do people follow you? I know you have a Substack. I was just reading on it. How do people follow you? How do they stay connected with you?
Thank you, Joe. So basically on Substack, the name of my Substack, it's Biopolitiks with a K, and on X at Alejandro Diaz MD. They can follow me there.
And you talk about a lot of things on I'll talk about your Substack. You wrote an article back in June talking about food as medicine.
Yes.
Great article. Absolutely terrific. I would love to offline at some point get with you and talk to you a little bit about that. You wrote something in April that has unfortunately not manifested, which talked about the gold standard of science and what Maha's vision was going forward for creating a more transparent environment for parents and for the public. Unfortunately, that did not manifest itself in what happened just 10 days ago, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, so I'll make a recommendation. You guys should all go follow Dr. Diaz. And then are you also on X?
I'm on X as at Alejandro Diaz, MD.
All right. Doc, thanks for coming on. I'm sorry to ask you such pointed questions. I think what I'm trying to get the public to do is to realize that, we're in a place where right now the resistance is in making sure that you don't comply. Mass non-compliance. Right? Isn't that the way where to go?
Yes.
And then from there, we can then have a conversation on how we hold these demons accountable.
Reverse mass formation. Reverse mass formation. and the magic bullet, bring God back to our hearts. I think that's the magic bullet.
What's your favorite Bible verse?
I want to say John 14:6.
Okay. Why is that your favorite?
Because it reveals the truth about who Jesus Christ was.
Which is the way, the truth, and the life.
Exactly. If we understand that verse, I think we understood everything.
You know, there's in going through all the time that I spend in the Bible, I've been spending a lot of time in the Old Testament, which does jade you a little bit in the fact that there is a solution to all this Old Testament solution. It would be good. It'd be bloody.
Yes.
But in going through the scriptures, everyone talks about John 3:16. You'll see athletes that put it underneath their
Tebow.
Yeah. But they miss the 1 John 3:16. Do you know what that means? Do you know what's in 1 John 3:16?
No, I don't remember.
That Jesus was willing to die on the cross for us. Yeah. So we should be willing to give up ourselves, our lives, for our brothers. It says brothers specifically, which is really important. But I believe that it means that we as men are designed to fight.
Yeah.
We're designed to fight evil, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's where we are right now.
Exactly. I agree with you, Joe.
All right. Dr. Diaz, thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to having you on again.
It's my pleasure, John. Thank you so much, Joe.
All right.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about the other things that are really important for us to focus in on. And that is sedition and treason. Sedition and treason. The interesting part about what I'm saying to you is that we'd have to come to a conclusion that sedition and treason are on the table right now. I believe that they are. See, when a police officer fails under the command of a mayor to protect someone in their community who is trying to enforce federal law, they are committing sedition. The act of purposely standing in the way of someone else trying to overthrow the rule of law of the country, federal government. Gavin Newsom is guilty of sedition. Governor Jared Polis is guilty of sedition and treason. Actually, sedition would be enough. Eric Coomer and John Polis, Dominion Voting Systems, ES&S, Lord Brown Moloch Brown, are guilty of treason. It is treason to steal the voice of the American people. It is treason to lead us to where, and let me just start at the top, then we'll go to a commercial break and I'll come back and we're gonna hear from these treasonous traitors. These are treasonous traitors. These are people that committed crimes against our country. They use a rotted judiciary to try and get away with it. They are guilty of crimes, massive crimes. These people are, oh man. We'll be right back. We're gonna go to commercial break. We'll be right back. When we come back, we're gonna dive into all of it. Portland, Chicago, Democratic policies, hindering law enforcement, putting illegals and putting criminals back on the street, refusing to help agents when under attack. People are dying. People every day. I will say this, President Trump, people are dying every day. You said that if people were dying, if people were being killed, people are dying every day because of a rotted judiciary that was put in place by stolen elections in every state. And I'm sorry that you can't see that deeply into what's happening, but that's exactly what happened. That's why Tina Peters had a judge that did what the judge did to Tina Peters. That's why they were able to attack you in every court. And yeah, it got overruled. And you know why it got overruled? because the American people were we were at the point where we just said, screw it. Let's just take it all back. Anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
My first time here shooting at the shooting range.
How's it going? It's also my first time, and I'm really excited.
It's also my first time here, first time shooting a gun.
My day off of work, and they were like, hey, you want to shoot some guns? That was awesome. The revolver is crazy. I will definitely come again.
Yeah, it was awesome. Really cool experience.
100% bringing my friends here another time.
I like to come shoot because I get to spend time with my family. The same for me. I love spending time with my family. It's something to do.
It's a lot of fun shooting.
When I first moved back into town, the first place I came was DCF Guns, and I signed up for a membership right away.
I got into shooting because of self-defense. I would encourage all women to be ready and to feel comfortable handling a handgun.
This was my first time ever shooting at DCF West. It felt amazing.
I shot an AR-15 and it was amazing. It was powerful and I loved it.
I'm here today as a part of a group of women that support one another in continuing to practice and refine our knowledge.
Not only self-protection of ourselves, but protection of our loved ones as well.
I have fun and I get to meet with other ladies.
You should always be prepared to defend yourself.
And I love coming to DCF Guns West to shoot. I come with my family. It's a nice, clean, friendly range. Here I feel safe. I feel like the people to my left and my right are also really cognizant of their range etiquette. That's why I come to DCF Guns West.
Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. Hey, this is just in from Fidelity. Gold could hit $4,000 an ounce as the Federal Reserve cuts rates to cushion the U.S. economy. The dollar drops and the central bank keeps adding holdings. Gold has been on a record-breaking tear over the last few years, and it doesn't look to be slowing down in the years to come. Are your savings protected with precious metals like gold and silver? Are you waiting for gold and silver to shoot even higher in price? I want you to call my gold partner, Goldco, today and learn more about what precious metals can do for you. That's 844-960-GOLD or visit untamedgold.com. You'll get a free 2025 gold and silver kit, and you'll get info on the #1 precious metal offer in the game, where you can get up to 10% back in bonus silver just for getting started. But supplies are limited, so don't put it off. Call my gold partner, Goldco, at 844-960-GOLD or visit untamedgold.com. That's 844-960-4653 or visit untamedgold.com. In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle. All right, say hi. Go ahead, you got to say hi. Say hi. You gonna say hi? You gonna bark? Ooh. Speaking of shots, somebody got their shot today. This little guy got his shot, her shot today. Yeah, you saying hi? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a good baby. Oh. And the veterinarian, you gonna go play? All right. Say bye. Say bye, Kodak. All right, you go play. You guys get to put up with me putting my dog on here. My little puppy. but who went in to get shots and did not take all the shots, only took a couple of them. And the woman there said, the veterinarian's like, you need to give your dog all these other shots. And I was like, no, we don't. And no, I won't. I want to play this video. Let's actually play that video if we can. The one video from Florida. This was the AG. Excuse me. It was the AG in Florida that was talking about vaccines specifically. And let's go and play it.
One other area that I'm very interested in, and I know a lot of moms in Florida are very interested in, and I also know the governor is very interested in, is this denial of medical care because of people's vaccination choices. Stepping back from a moment, I mean, it's a really repulsive policy stance. It's very common here in Florida, unfortunately, in pediatrician offices, as it is in probably most parts of the country. Families, parents and their children are being told that in order to receive care, you must comply with these medical therapies in the way and at the time that I dictate. That already is completely against literally everything we learned about ethics in medical school, because it is inherently coercive, and you cannot provide ethical, appropriate, proper medical care in the setting of coercion. It's impossible. And, you know, my youngest kid is 6 years old, and he can explain to you after a brief discussion, he would be able to explain why it is very clearly coercive to punish families by kicking them out of your practice if they do not agree to taking a medication. That medication happens to be vaccines that we're talking about, but it doesn't matter what the medication is. It is a coercive policy. It's as bad as a policy can be. So on a practical level, what happens sometimes is that moms or dads may just want to, for example, spread some vaccines out, or they may not want to take particular vaccines because they have some concerns about their child's sensitivity or their need for a particular vaccine. And for parents to be kicked out of pediatrician practices for that reason, it's just wrong. I mean, it's plain WRONG wrong.
And it takes Captain Obvious to tell us that. I mean, think about what you would have to be thinking to tell a parent that if you don't give your kid a vaccine. By the way, the only person that is in any sort of danger, if what they're saying is true, which it's not, is going to be your child. Right? Nobody else is actually harmed by it at all. President Trump put out a truth. Let's just move on. Let's move on to this. I just wanted to bookend it because we were talking about this specifically with Dr. Diaz. I want to talk about Portland and Chicago. Over the weekend, ICE, we played this on the show before, ICE called for help, and Chicago PD was told to stand down and to not help ICE. There are people doing harm, could have resulted in the death of one of the ICE officers as a result of it. And so President Trump put out this truth on Truth Social. And it says, Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers, Governor Pritzker also. So the interesting part about what is being said is that, is he signaling by saying this, is Trump signaling that, frankly, that they should be charged with sedition? And why, by the way, aren't they being charged? Why aren't they being charged? I just want to know why they aren't being charged. Like, you have a federal law that people here illegally, that they need to leave. That this isn't even, it's not up for debate. If you actually violate that and you force people who are government, they work in government law enforcement into a place that's unsafe and say, we're not going to come help you, are you not committing sedition? Here's a cut of Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson announcing he signed an executive order to ICE for ICE-free zones. He doesn't even have the authority to do this. Let's go ahead and play it.
Today, we are signing an executive order aimed at reining in this out-of-control administration. The order establishes ICE-free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids.
I don't think he has authority. And in Chicago, there's a citywide manhunt for illegal criminals has begun in Chicago. Today, special agents in uniform are detaining suspects, removing them from their vehicles, searching their homes, and transporting them onto buses for deportation. It was a bad idea to bring the dog in. Let's go ahead and play it. So I want everybody to understand that who's behind Antifa and who's behind these people. It's called the Democrat Socialists of America. They're the communist arm that basically is funneling money in, and they're not doing a good job of reporting all the money that they're receiving either. But federal agents in Chicago have basically just stopped tolerating the leftist agitators. And well, take a look at it. This is the arrest made in front of the ICE detention facility just last week. Let's play it. Does everybody else hear you or just me? Okay. So somebody said in my ear that we have a problem. So we're going to hold off on that particular. We're going to hold off on that cut. Do we have the Pritzker's announcement to ICE in Chicago? Let's play that.
Of the state of Illinois, the people of the city of Chicago, as this incursion by the federal government, these troops are on the streets of your state, of this city. What do you want them to do? There's a big protest scheduled for 5:30 p.m. tonight.
Well, first, we've made sure that people know their rights and they know how to find out what their rights are, because we don't want them picked up off the streets just because they're brown or black, just because they happen to be undocumented and have committed no crimes. Remember, he said he was going after the worst of the worst. It's not going after the worst of the worst when you're just literally stopping children who happen to be brown and asking them for papers as if, you know, they're going to have proof that they're a U.S. citizen. So first, know your rights. Second, we want everybody to pull out their phones, an Android, an iPhone, whatever you've got, and film everything you see, because we take that to court. We also show it to the public. And it's one of the reasons that so many people are speaking up and acting up in order to fight Donald Trump, because they're seeing this is not the country that we grew up in. This is not the country that we want. And so that's very important. And then lastly, again, we got to take them to court. We got to win. It looks like we're going to do that.
For someone.
Yeah, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. And if you do win, frankly, I don't know how President Trump does not go to a place where we should ask him. We're in one of the rooms in the White House right now, right here. So I walk in the back room and ask. Just kidding. We should get a video, by the way, of President Trump like walking behind me in the background, just kind of like looking over, like, I see. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Yeah, I'll be right there. I want to play this. We couldn't play it before. We have it now. This is cut 4. This is the Chicago Border Patrol and ICE agents saying we've had enough. Let's play it.
Give us your hands! Give us your hands open! Put your hands on your back now! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! Your name and date of birth! Your name and date of birth! Get back! Get back! Get back! Your name and date of birth! 1, 2, 3. My keys. Back in the car. Got your keys. It's all getting in the corner. Your keys, your phone, your wallet, and your charger. All right? Guys, give me a circle. Take a circle around the back. Y'all keep recording. Off the road. Hey. Don't sign anything.
Did you hear the guy saying your name and your date of birth? Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what happened in 2020. I've said this only one time before. Pay attention to it. I sat on the board for a nonprofit organization in Denver, Colorado. I went to a board meeting. There was $50,000 that was sent to the organization by a governor-approved NGO. When we were inside the meeting for the board of directors, they talked about taking that money and using it to bail out protesters in the Antifa raid. That actually happened. I said, you can't do that. That is actually against the law. That's money laundering. People gave you money. Another nonprofit organization gave you money, and you're using that money to bail out protesters that committed violent crimes. I cannot be a part of this. 3 weeks later, I was kicked off of that board. This is prior to, there was some pressure put on them, but I was like, listen, I can't sign off on that. You're committing a crime. You're committing a crime. I didn't even think about it as I'm sitting here talking. That the same thing has been used by all these NGOs. All these NGOs are being fed money. And then they use that money and have guys like this piece of trash that was out there saying, give me your name and date of birth. So they can go out and they can post bail to get those people out. There is a concerted effort to undermine our country. I was on that board. I sat on several boards, 4 or 5 boards. This is the only one that I know of that had that issue. It's the only one that I was privy to those conversations. But the conversation was there. And as I think back on it, it was pretty eerie. We got $50,000 on. We got a list of names of people that we have to get out on bail. And they basically took that money and bailed out criminals. And you say, Joe, why are you working on the board? Why would you be on a board like that? The organization was actually designed to help the community. It had food pantries and it had other things that worked to help the poorest among us in the community. That's what I did. That was my mandate up until 2020. My mandate was not getting involved in elections, nor did I want anything to do with elections. I wanted to help single moms. I wanted to give them an opportunity to learn a trade so that they could take care of their children. I wanted to make sure that families could feed their children. I knew what it felt like not to be able to eat. They do cry like babies, don't they? Modtrend says excessive. I don't consider any of these people my friends, bar none. The man is a Dem. Who's a Dem? Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one, shall we? This is J.B. Pritzker's son. See, it's a family affair. This is organized crime. You want to know what it is? It's organized crime. And the only way to get rid of it is going to be to arrest 50,000, 100,000 people for sedition, have them put in jail for sedition, and get rid of the judges. And the only way to get rid of the judges is to charge every one of the judges with sedition and crimes. You let somebody out 39 times, you should go to prison for the rest of your life. Do that to a couple thousand judges and make the other ones resign. Here's Pritzker's son showing protesters how to escape out of the very, very small zip ties if and when they're arrested by ICE. Let's go and play it.
So, hey, if you get illegally detained by people impersonating federal officers, they're probably going to do something really dumb and incompetent, and they're going to use zip ties from Home Depot to secure your wrists after they pin you to the ground and while they're trying to load you in a van, right? And to avoid going to the second location, I don't have a proper full-size zip tie, but the same principle applies. And I learned this in a SURE class a couple of years ago. So they'll secure you like this in front or behind, okay? Usually behind. But all you want to do is come out as far away from your body as you can and jerk against your rib cage, and they just come off. And yes. Okay, so if you're behind, if they get you behind like this, which they probably will, you have a lot less range of movement if you're a fat person. But the same principle applies, which is that you're trying to get a good snap against your rib cage, and they come right apart. And the important part is that that's not breaking the width of the tie, it's breaking the locking mechanism, and it just pulls through. And you can do this with most zip ties, even the big heavy-duty half-inch ones that you can buy at Home Depot. Anyways, yeah, so quick don't go to the second location tutorial. Hopefully that keeps some people safe. Thanks for watching, and don't practice tying yourself up at home. This does tear up your wrists really badly, and like don't do this for fun with heavier ties, because it will hurt your wrists pretty badly on heavier ties, but it does work.
That's Pritzker's son. That little weirdo is Pritzker's son. Okay. There is an update for Portland, just so you know. Kristi Noem is on the ground. She arrived at the facility, and the first thing she did was pray for the safety of the officers and to thank Jesus Christ for their bravery. Play it.
Together, that you give us good fellowship, Lord, but that you'd also give us wisdom and discernment to make the best decisions, not just for the people that are here enforcing the law, but also for the citizens of this country. And Lord, I just ask that you continue to put a hedge of protection around these officers. Keep them safe, Lord, but that also that you would continue to bless each and every one of them and their families. And Lord, that you would protect the freedoms that we all enjoy, that were given to us by you. We love you and praise you in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay. Remember what I said before? Actually, I think anybody could probably surmise this, that the people in Portland feel like they're being held hostage. When residents asked and were living near the ICE facility in Portland had this to say. C8.
I am so happy that Trump is sending the National Guard in here. I live in this building. We both live in this building. We've been asking for help for months, and we're finally going to get it.
When do you think they're coming?
When? Not soon enough, man. Not soon enough.
What do you want to see happen?
I want him to come in and mess them up and just annihilate these people. Whatever force they need. Gals like her and the other people that live in the building. Watch out. They're the ones. They're the ones that I'm concerned about. So they're afraid to come out of the building. So I've been coming out every night, every day to help them, to make sure that they're okay. She won't even leave the building with them.
Are you afraid of the protesters?
Very. It's an extreme mob mentality to me, which means nothing is as it should be.
So are you excited that Trump's deploying the troops here?
Very excited. I cannot wait.
I can't wait for them to leave.
Forever and ever. Amen.
And if they don't leave, I'm going to bring in the gypsy jokers.
Okay, check this out. This is what ICE has to deal with every single night in Portland. What I think the ICE agents should do is just rip off all of their face gear. Just rip them off and make them have to suck in the fumes. Look, I don't have, these people are there every single night. They don't have jobs. This is their job. They're funded by, you heard that Black Lives Matter went after George Soros' organization for tens of millions of dollars for back payments. That should tell you everything you need to know about George Soros. And here's young Oregon patriots arriving at the ICE building in Portland to support the ICE and the upcoming troops. Let's play this cut.
Oh, that's a video. Where are you guys from? Okay. Come down here to support the troops.
Yeah.
I love it.
One, my people.
Yeah, man. I love it.
Get back and forth.
Are you guys in high school?
Yeah.
I love it, dude. Love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Love it, dude. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, baby. I love it.
I freaking love it. I have to be a little bit funny because as we finish up. So if we could look at this is Portland ICE agents get into a brawl, and they end up pepper spraying a frog. Yeah, here you'll get it. Let's go and watch it. Nothing better than a frog in a suit that has that little fan on it. Have you ever seen these fans? And so it blew all that stuff inside of the inside of the frog. The frog got really mad and posted on Twitter that this is what it's coming to when ICE agents are attacking a frog. We have this is the part that just blows my mind. We get to the place where we just don't have any common sense and we don't have any just common decency. It's pretty outrageous. I want to just a couple more things that I think is important to talk about. In 2020, we had fires that went all the way up and down the coast. There were set fires. These fires were not made by global warming. They were created by these Antifa terrorists. And this is why I say that sedition and criminal conspiracy, RICO acts, that these people need to go to prison. You know what? They need to face a firing squad. That's what they need to face. If you remember the fires that ravaged through Los Angeles County in last year, the U.S. attorney has arrested a 29-year-old. His name is Jonathan Rinderknecht, for starting the blaze that led to devastating fires there. So let's go ahead and show you this announcement first. A2.
Today, we are announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht for igniting a fire that ultimately burned down the Palisades earlier this year, killing 12 people, destroying more than 6,800 structures, both homes and businesses, and damaging over 1,000 more buildings. The complaint unsealed today charges the defendant with destruction of property by means of fire, a felony that carries a mandatory minimum 5-year federal prison sentence and is punishable by up to 20 years in federal prison.
Okay, is 20 years enough? 12 people died. Shouldn't he face the death penalty federally? Should he not face the death penalty for killing 12 Americans? This is why I say incrementalism is the thing that will kill America. If you allow incrementalism, if you incrementally claw back, you will get to the place where they consistently win. You want to know why? Because evil has a way of dripping into every part of society. All right, I got to go. I got a bunch of stuff I got to get done. We're going to cut the show off a little bit early today. Let's pray it out. Before we do, I want to say two things. One, yesterday, let me see if I can find this silver price. Love doing this. So since yesterday, the price of silver is up 2% today. Up 2%. The price of copper is up. I want to thank you for the emails that you sent me where we were talking about copper. Yeah, I can go buy copper today. Copper price today. Copper's even today. up 4% in the last 5 days. What I'm trying to get you to do is to invest. Invest in something that you can't lose money on. You can't. I mean, if you look at historically, nobody's ever lost money on commodities. Sooner or later, you make a bunch of money, right? And it's not that gold is worth more; it's the dollar is worth less. It's absolutely true. So go to untamedgold.com and just have them send you a packet. Start there. Just have them send you a packet. You figure it out from there. Whether or not you just buy gold in bulk or buy silver or buy whatever commodities are available, do that. But at least have them send you a packet so you can review it. At least read the information. That's what I'm asking you to do. All right. Now we have a fax blast today. We at the end, here's what I want. I want convictions for sedition and for treason. I want them to get rid of machines, mail-in ballots, same day voting, make it a federal holiday. We shut down our entire economy for 6 months. Why can't we make it a federal holiday and make it so that everyone has the opportunity to vote? Every single person. We can. And there's another part that I added to this is that at some point, we're going to have a reckoning. And that reckoning is going to have to include judges that are just rotted to the core. It's not one judge. It's not two judges. It's not five judges. It's nearly all of them. But we're going to have a reckoning. And that reckoning is going to have to resolve some of the things that we're dealing with in our society as people. And so it's going to take arresting and charging 40, 50, 60,000 people. It's going to take it 100%. We're in a war. When people are burning down entire parts of our country and being charged only with a 5 to 20 years in jail for doing it when he kills 12 people, we're in a war. And the only person that is playing by the, hey, we're going to play by the rules and act like there's laws are the good people. And I'm going to tell you, sooner or later, the good people are going to get tired of playing by the rules where they become victims every single day. We're victims of vaccines. We're victims of crimes on the street that are committed against us. We're victims because judges let these criminals out over and over again. We watch as our women and children are trafficked across the country by the Bibi Jew network. That's what it is. And you could say, Joe, that's anti-Semitic. No, it's not. There are good Christians. Actually, I would say that if you're a Christian, most Christians are good people. There are good Muslims. There are good Jews. There are bad Christians. There are bad Muslims. There are bad Jews. Bibi Jews are bad Jews. They're faithless atheists. That's what they are. They don't believe in God. They were the whole idea. 46% of the judges are Bibi Jews. Faithless. Zealots. The entire financial system, Bibi Jews. And look, I'm sorry that this is offensive. I'm sorry if the truth is offensive. Galatians 4:16 says, am I the enemy because I tell you the truth? I know I'm somebody's enemy. But this is the reality. All right. Case in point, good Jew. Stephen Miller. Good Jew. Super good dude. I mean, just a great guy. My aunt, good Jew. Cousin, good Jew. loves God. I know plenty of good Jews. Plenty. Lots. Unfortunately, this group of people that we're talking about are Satan. They align themselves with Satanists. They align themselves with atheists. You all know Harari, Bibi Jew. Horrible human beings. Horrible, horrible, horrible people. And somewhere along the line, we're going to have to deal with it. It's a fraternity. It has nothing to do with religion because these are not, no. But if we don't deal with it, we are going to see us watch them incrementally destroy our entire society. Hand it back over to the Hasidic Jews. Hand over Israel to them. And by the way, they're facing the same problem that we face here in the United States. They are captured there as well. 5 times in 8 years, Israel's government collapsed. Go look it up. It collapsed. And it does not say in the Bible that I have to stand behind faithless atheists and that's somehow that I have to bless those people. I do not. You never stand on the side of evil. So today's Facts Plus, go check it out at untamednation.com. We're just talking about the siege that's happening in our society, in our country, against average, everyday, good Americans. All right, let's pray. Father God, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for Dr. Diaz. Thank you for the time and commitment that he has put in. And thank you for opening his mind and his heart and waking him up. Father, we know we're dealing with a massive operation against the minds of our men, women, and children, not just in the United States, but around the world. You can see it. It is a global pandemic that would make the pandemics that we deal with today seem almost child's play compared to what has been done to the people around the world. We have let evil and chaos wreak havoc on communities all over the world. We have seen them as they have stolen elections all over the world. We have seen them as they have trafficked and raped women and children all over the world. They have done so, Father, with impunity, and they have not been held accountable. And we do know that vengeance is yours, but consequence, Father, that's what we seek. We ask you to give us the strength to keep fighting, the courage to keep pushing on the truth and the mechanisms of that truth. And doing so in such a way that people could just recognize it, see it, and then work the problem to fix it. We ultimately, Father, want to see restoration, restoring you to the community, to the country, to their schools, to the actual churches that are out there that frankly are infiltrated with really just disgusting ideologies. We ask you, Father, to give us the pathway forward and to put us in a place where we can have influence over destroying the evil within our community. We ask you, Father, for patience. We ask you for humility. We ask you that we may be able to give grace to those that are around us that are deceived. And ultimately, Father, we just ask that your will be done and that we do the things and listen to the still small voice that tells us what we need to do individually and collectively. Help us to stand together, Father. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same station. Remember, by Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Go over and give us a 5-star review. And give us a thumbs up on your way out. I see all these people there. Just thumbs up. Chris, yes, says, you said you might have a project for me, or was that Joe? I did. And we're working on some stuff that would involve some government contract teaming agreements. So, yeah, I might have something for you. It's going to take me a little bit to figure out. So keep going down the path that you were on. Where did Apollo go? Apollo is going to school right now. Joe really needs to come to Normie unless David tells him otherwise. Really needs to, what? What do I need to do? Catch up. I'm a normie. Okay. I'm not a normie. Another convenient patsy. Okay. Maybe. I'm reading the comments here real quickly, just like, did I miss anything? All right. Sorry. So Sounder says that they hired him. Yes, probably. Yeah. I'm not a normie though. I don't know if you could ever call me a normie. I'll throw someone around on their neck. I literally train for the ability to be able to just tear people apart, evil apart, not just people, evil. Anyway, have a great night. I don't know what to tell you if you think I'm a normie. There is a hearing on October 16th. And so it should be some pretty cool things that we get accomplished that in the Tina deal. So should be good. I will be on Trent Loose 1 hour Friday, 6 to 7 a.m. Friday on Trans Drag Schools, legs, etc. Awesome. All right. Take care. Be good.